What's up, everybody? I've been asked by a couple people in my comments to look at CHPY. I've also been asked to look at GPTY. Both of these are YieldMax funds. We're going to look at them individually, and then we're going to compare them to each other and see which one is better and which one may or may not have better long-term potential. Now, I was hesitant because I've never looked at any of these two funds prior to prepping for this video. They come from YieldMax, and I already know what to expect from YieldMax, but one of them is shocking to me. And now it's only been out, one of them been out 4 months, but nonetheless, it was still shocking to me. These are both basket funds, but they're not like YMAX or YMAG or FEET or whatever the other one is that hold actual YieldMax holdings. These are basket funds, and they do cover calls as you would expect on different holdings, okay? And I just want to put this out there first that I'm glad that YieldMax put this on their website. I haven't been on their website in ages, really, and you could see here that they have this straight away on the front page about them being capped and that they're all subject to potential losses if their shares are the underlying decrease in value. So you have all the downside with a capped upside. Please remember that. And the same thing with GPTY. This GPTY is like AI and tech company, and this is all about semiconductors with Chippy. So not an apples to apples comparison, but I think close enough for this comparison. Now, I was shocked when I saw this. I was not expecting this. So you could see here that Chippy from inception on share price is up 22%. Wow. Not what I expected. But the market has been ripping too. This one did not participate in that corrective measure we had earlier in the year. So all this fund knows is that the market goes up. And it's not bad for share price appreciation, I must admit. 22, that's really nice. So there's that from Chippy. Inception, whatever it was, now it's up to 58.31. You can see here their top holdings are Broadcom, NVIDIA, and they have deposits with the broker for short positions. And we're going to get into their holdings a little bit here. So Chippy, is just all tech. And that's why I think it's a fair comparison in a sense, because they're both just straight up tech. So when we have these tech rallies, these stocks generally surge, or stocks like these generally surge. And Chippy has really been doing well with their share price appreciation. Again, I was shocked and was not expecting to see green on the chart. And here's your distribution. Slowly but steadily, you can see that line there from the end of May and June, July, August, September, slowly, steadily climbing up. You want to see higher distributions and higher share price. That gives you a feel that there could be some longevity behind them. So I don't know if they're doing anything different with this fund or how they're running their options comparatively to others. Now, this is what you normally see from something YieldMax related. This one's been out, since February, so it did participate in that corrective measure. And you can see here it's only up 3%, or negative 3%, which isn't good, obviously. Here's their holdings: NVIDIA, Palantir, Intel, C3I, AI, Tesla, right? Just more tech. Both of them are just so heavily tech related. And so that's a double-edged sword, right? When we have these kind of market conditions and we're having these massive tech rallies, it's good for these. But when we sell off, tech always gets hit the hardest. And so it's fair to say that these will be hit fairly hard when we go down, as anything tech-related would be. Even though their share price has gone down, their distributions have slowly started to creep back up again, and that's a positive sign, I must say. As much as I am down on YieldMax, you gotta like the way CHPY's distributions have risen and GPTY's distributions have risen. Now here's the Qs, right? And we can see just the rip. We just got a little bit here. I'm showing the Qs because that's all these two funds know. They don't know any past history of the Qs and them. So for a comparison, we're just going to do it from this time period and basically April. So you can see the rip up from the corrective measure we had down there with the Qs. And it's not bad with CHPY, right? It's gotten some nice share price appreciation. As much as I give YieldMax a hard time, wow, it's really nice to see that kind of movement out of a YieldMax fund. And there is, some discrepancies because it's so tech heavy, even versus the Qs. And now this is, this one, GPTY, has recovered somewhat from that fall off that we had earlier in the year, but didn't quite get back up there, right? You could see how far the Qs have ran, and this one has really not participated in that, although it has recovered pretty good. I wouldn't say great or all the way because it hasn't, but it's recovered okay. So their total returns are probably nice because their distributions have risen or stayed flat, and their share price has almost gotten back to where it came in at. It just so happened it came in, and you could see here the market immediately started dumping once this thing came into inception. Now I do have my GPIQ on here just as a reference point, okay? So total return percentage year to date, you could see here CHPY is just destroying GPTY, 56% versus 22%, and then my GPIQ down there at 17% with total returns. And you can see here price change year to date. Why is price change important? Because as the price rises, distributions increase and rise with it. That's why price change is important. And it means you don't have to reinvest nearly as much or anything. You can actually live off the distributions while something like this is happening. But anyway, year to date, CHPY is up 26% in price change, 7% for my GPIQ, and negative 5% for GPTY. I really don't like to see that because we know that the market is ripped up and tech is ripped up, and that is lagging behind even my GPIQ. It's lagging behind that and lagging behind CHPY. Now, when we do this kind of comparison here, we can see total returns here. If you kept all the distributions, which I think is important, total return, CHPY up 66.76% and GPTY up 63%. And if you're starting and ending investment, both made over $6,000 from 408. You made $300 more on CHPY. So, yeah, I mean, the total returns are nice, right? And the price change on CHPY is nice. When you compare the two, even though they're so close in total returns, just this price change alone tells you that CHPY is probably going to be better long term because its share price is rising. Its distributions are rising also with the price decline right here in GPTY. We get another, corrective measure, and then the lack of growth may inhibit this for the future. Now, for me personally, I'm not interested in either one of these two funds, but I must say that I was impressed for the 4 months, okay, that CHPY has been out. It's done really well. I mean, if you're in it, you have zero complaints right now. And I would definitely be I mean, me personally, if I was in, I'd be finding a way to take profits and stuff like that. Because what have all YieldMax funds done over time? They all depreciate share price and their distributions go down over time. I mean, more time needs to be given to both of these funds to see if they follow the wonderful YieldMax model of lower share price, lower decline, and the distributions. So you are forced to continue to add in your distributions if you want to keep your money flat, right? But right now you haven't had to do that with Chippy at all whatsoever. You've been able to keep them all 100%. In GPTY, you're probably having to reinvest something, although not to the extreme as other funds, just to keep everything flat because it is down on share price. But yeah, Chippy, I mean, I was not expecting to see this, and I was really shocked. And so that's really good on YieldMax. Did they have something that's moving like this? But again, it's only been a few months, and more time is needed to see if these are long-term holds or just your traditional YieldMax where it does good during a positive movement in its underlying or market condition, and then you need to take profits and exit before it drops or put a stop loss in or whatever. But yeah, if you're in this thing, you're making money and you're doing well, I would just be cautious with it once we start correcting or crashing. Like I said, maybe put that stop loss in, but it's whatever. It's up to you guys, obviously, how you want to run your money and what your plan is. But man, not bad out of Chippy. Definitely impressed, and definitely one of their better YieldMax funds I think I've ever seen. But again, short time period. We'll see what the future's like. Hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you later. Bye.